Hey friends, happy Wednesday. Hope you're doing well in your life and that you're having a great day. I want to talk about some hot news today because that's what we're going to do. And just want to let you know that in case you weren't aware, we actually upload all of these videos over on Floatplane with no ads before they go live on YouTube. And with all of our other videos that we release, we put them on Floatplane first. So in case you want early exclusive access to our videos, you can check us out at floatplane.com. Your money helps to go support us here at UFD Tech, making sure that we can make this US transition work effectively and everything goes smoothly with that. So we appreciate everybody who's a Floatplane subscriber right now, and we would appreciate it if you check it out down below at the video description. But let's go ahead and jump on into the hot news, which the first one today is we have a little bit more confirmation about some upcoming AMD graphics cards, which according to this EEC filing may be indeed the RX 5950 XT, RX 5950, and the RX 5800 XT. And if you've been following along with the news long enough, you would know that this actually isn't the first filing of these names on the graphics cards with the EEC. It appears that Sapphire actually did this last year. So not only did we have the RX 5700 and 5700 XT published with the EEC, we also had these higher end GPUs published as well. This is coming on behalf of a company that sells both NVIDIA and AMD GPUs that you likely haven't heard of, known as AFOX or AFOX, however you want to pronounce it. They're the ones who submitted the filings to the EEC, and so it could potentially be that this company is actually going to be releasing these cards sometime soon. However, with the fact that AMD did not announce these at CES, and with the fact that this company has not listed a single RX 5000 series model, not the 5600 XT or any of the 5700 series, it doesn't seem like this is necessarily confirmation that this is an imminent thing that is going to happen. However, there are obviously a few other things that have indicated that we could potentially be getting these cards sometime this year. One is Dr. Lisa Su's interview with the non-tech saying that Big Navi is indeed coming. And then two, we talked about previously last week how there was an unnamed AMD graphics card that was featured in a benchmark that absolutely destroyed the RTX 2080 Ti. So it's going to be weird trying to figure out when this is going to come out, but AMD doesn't have any big press conferences coming up. I don't see them launching this outside of a major convention, so we'll have to wait and see if these numbers actually come out and these cards actually exist. But multiple companies reporting the same cards, maybe they'll be coming soon. We'll have to wait for that, which is also what we're going to have to wait for when it comes to the next generation of AMD motherboards. And I know I hear you saying, but Brett, we haven't even gotten B550 and A520. Well, those are supposed to be launching sometime in the first quarter of this year. However, there's a report coming out of DigiTimes claiming that the AMD 600 series chipset, so likely the X670, will be launched before the end of this year. This would coincide with the Zen 3 launch that we're also expecting to happen towards the end of this year. So launching a flagship chipset with that would make a whole lot of sense. And if it's any indication by how delayed B550 and A520 have been, AMD seems to want to have their lower end chipsets just be on a completely different timetable, and then we get the high end one at some other point. But then there was also a rumor that we talked about previously about a potential X590 chipset. Whether or not that's going to come out still remains to be seen, but motherboards from AMD going to be hot and heavy probably this year. But what's not going to be hot and heavy is Sony at E3. They, in fact, are not attending E3 for the second year in a row. It does seem like Nintendo and Sony have just decided that E3 is not the place for them to actually launch their stuff. There has been some backlash to E3 with regards to letting in the public when it used to be an industry-only event. It's not clear whether or not Sony is doing it for that reason, but any PlayStation 5 news will likely have to come at Sony's own press conference that is launched outside of E3 rather than in E3 event. Sony did a state of play last year. It's likely that they're going to do the exact same thing this year or hold their own dedicated PlayStation 5 launch event to unveil all of the specs. They might even do it after Xbox has unveiled all of their specs, just to kind of get the mind share of the people after Microsoft has done it, which, in case you're wondering, Microsoft is indeed going to be at E3 this year. So Sony not going, Nintendo never really goes, Microsoft definitely going to be there. One more little bit of Sony news is that the PlayStation back button that goes on the little adapter socket on the DualShock 4 controller that was never really used for anything is finally getting its reviews. It's supposed to launch next week on January 23rd. It's a $30 thing that adds a few buttons on the back. Cool. It seems like it does what it's supposed to do. But some unfortunate news for Sony fans is that the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was supposed to be launching on March 3rd in less than 2 months, has been delayed by Square Enix to April 10th. So they announced that they're making this tough decision in order to give themselves a few extra weeks to apply final polish to the game and to deliver you with the best possible experience. And then the game producer said, I, on behalf of the whole team, want to apologize to everyone, as I know this means waiting for the game just a little bit longer. I definitely am okay with this. Delaying games so that you put them out in a more complete state is a good thing. I'm okay with this. Square Enix, take all the time you need. However, I sent this to our editor, Catlin, and she said I wish they would delay it another year and perfect it so I don't have to download another DLC to get the intended version of the game, because she's a little salty about the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC that's coming out, as well as the fact that Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be episodic and you don't get the full game all at once. And then on top of that, in case anybody cares, Marvel's Avengers has also been delayed by Square Enix, this time a little bit further. May 15th was the original release date. Now it's going to be on September 4th. So Square Enix facing a whole host of delays on their games, but Epic Games hasn't been delayed in the money that they're making, because we reported in a previous hot news that Fortnite's making them billions. Well, it turns out that the Epic Game Store as well has been a nice cash cow for them. They announced that they hit $680 million in revenue and that they have 108 million customers, with a large portion of them taking advantage of the free games that Epic Game Store actually uses. And Todd Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, stated that exclusives have been critical in gaining momentum in the presence of a competitor that began 2019 with more than 90% market share. So Epic Games Store boycott not really going the way that everybody kind of ranted and raved on the internet about Epic Games making money hand over fist, which also appears to be the way that PC sales are going, because IDC and Gartner are both reporting that for the first time since 2011, PC sales have increased every quarter in 2019. Sales were up throughout the entire year, and this is the first time this has obviously happened in a long time. So it looks like the fourth quarter saw about 4.8% growth year on year, just showing that the PC master race is good and strong. There's a ton of different options that you can get in the PC world that are exceptionally good, but a lot of that is no thanks to Intel, at least according to the new report that shows that Intel CPU shortages were still going on towards the end of 2019. So not only were the supply shortages going on in Q4, it also looks like CPU shipments will be up to 15% lower in Q1 of 2020. This obviously has a lot to do with AMD and the resurgence in their CPUs with Ryzen 3000, but also now there's the fact that they have to compete with them in the mobile market. But then there's also the fact that Intel has been experiencing serious supply chain deliverance on their CPUs because of the bottlenecks with 14 nanometer production. And then on top of that, there's some information coming out about the Thunderbolt 4 that Intel showed off at CES. They put it in their trailer for Tiger Lake. A lot of people had no idea what it was. Well, it turns out, according to the USB Implementers Forum, it's basically just USB 4. It's going to be the new brand name that Intel is bringing to USB 4. Yes. Make things more confusing. Love it. But Google wants to make things more safe or more private, because they've announced the timeline to get rid of third-party cookies in Google Chrome by 2022. Google saying that the way that cookies are used currently isn't necessary in order to deliver personalized ads, and so they're going to get rid of them. However, I've read some conspiracy theories that are just like, well, of course they're going to do this, because Google's just going to use first-party cookies because they own all the browsers, because everybody's moving over to Chromium. So anybody that needs to use a third party is just a competitor. Gotta get that monopoly when you can. Got them. All of that's just hypothetical, though. And then in yesterday's hot news, we talked about the Galaxy S20 Ultra, but one of the things that was put on screen that I forgot to actually verbally mention was the 1440p 120Hz display that should be going into the smartphone. However, it appears that the 120Hz version of the display will only be limited to 1080p. If you want to use the 1440p resolution, you're stuck to 60Hz. Apparently, Samsung went back and forth on the decision a few times about whether they should include a 1080p 120Hz or for 1440p non-high refresh rate. I think they made the right choice, but if OnePlus's announcement of their 120Hz fluid display is any indication, they might be behind the times by the end of 2020, showing that other display manufacturers possibly have better smartphones than them. But you ain't gonna find a better t-shirt than this, because Tesla is now officially selling t-shirts with the Cybertruck glass broken on it for $45. In case you want to be part of meme history with what is supposed to be ballistic grade glass that shatters with cannonballs, well, here you go. You can put it on your shirt, wear it proudly. Yeah, I don't like that one. Check out our merch at the link in the video description. Oh, I still have the green screen active. Bam. Green screen friendly shirts. Check them out at our merch store in the link in the video description. And then I just want to close hot news with an article that I found hilarious, more hilarious than the Tesla selling the Cybertruck shirt. And this headline from Digitimes saying AMD CPU gaining popularity among PCs. What a hot take. Thank you, Digitimes, for reporting on something that I wouldn't have known otherwise. And what you wouldn't have known otherwise is anything that I reported on in Hot News today. You're welcome for being your only source of tech news. We deliver the news hot, fresh, and salty. You're welcome. And I'm going to end this episode there. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. I got to go. Bye.